don't call me African American. I'm an American. I was born in Detroit. I've never been to Africa, she said. Welcome to Shakaama Politics, or this will be topics that will be covered on Shakaama Politics. Simply type in Shakaama Politics, go over to the channel, and subscribe. Within a couple of months, I will be moving all of the political to that channel. The political videos don't seem to do very well on this main channel. I know people say, oh, don't divide your topics onto a smaller channel. Well, they don't do well on the main channel, so I've already done my research, and this is how people do it. This is how people get rich on YouTube. By the way, in case you don't know, they have multiple channels. All of the top paying, highly paid YouTubers have multiple channels that cover various topics, right? Think of BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed has about 20 channels, 20 different channels, and I can't even tell what each channel is supposed to cover, but I'm not a BuzzFeeder. So let's get to the topic at hand. People, Black Americans, blacks, I just call them blacks, right? Blacks, it's easy, it's straight to the point. I'm Capricorn. I just want to get to the point. I want you to understand the subject that I'm talking about. I want to get there quickly, and I want you to be crystal clear about what I'm talking about. So if I say a black person, everybody on the planet knows who I'm talking about, right? Here's a funny thing. African American, when I do a search using the term African American, I always get a higher class of black people. Is that amazing? Do you think that's on purpose? Do you think it's a coincidence? So let's talk about African American. Now, I understand the sentiment that you say you're not African, which I think is stupid. I think black people who say they're not African American are stupid on several levels, and I'm going to break that down to you. Why? Understand that I don't care about your feelings. You understand that part? I don't care about your feelings. I don't care if that hurts your feelings, or if you're going to go run and cry, or you're going to go tell on me to somebody. I don't care. I frankly do not care. Again, I'm Capricorn. I speak language that I want you to understand me, and I want to be understood. Now, how you interpret that language is not up to me. It's up to you, right? If you get butthurt over it, understand that I'm going to tell you something that is only going to help you, right? And here it goes. African American. The sentiment is that you are saying you're not African American. You have never been to Africa. You're trying to say that you're American. You're trying to say that don't divide you up. Here's why that entire thought process is stupid, and why the only thing that it actually does is play into white supremacy. And here's why. White supremacy has already divided up everybody. And when a black person says that they're not black or they're not African American, all it does is puts that individual into the main pot, right? However you want to run through the fields holding hands in the flowers and the tree, and the wind is blowing through the trees and the birds are singing, however you want to feel like that is not the reality. I'm Capricorn, I'm practical. The reality is, if a black person tries to put themselves in the main pot, the black person fails utterly. This is coming from a rich, educated black guy who's had an entire life spent speaking to presidents and kings and princes and queens and ambassadors and so forth and so on, right? Given my history, I have lived a charmed life, and I'm telling you, even with my charmed life, I am full aware that I'm black. I was in a situation where each and every day I was reminded that I am just a Negro, each and every day. And where was I? I was in law school, a place of higher learning. The elite of the elite go there. This is where all of your congressmen, your presidents, your governors come from. Law school. Yeah, buddy. And I was made to feel lesser than, although I had better grades. I was on a full ride scholarship. I tested in at a higher percentage level than most of them. But I was not made to feel, but made to, it was attempted to make me feel lesser than. The problem was my family was richer than them. I had actually had already more education than them. I was far more cultured than them. I was a Renaissance man, play 5 different instruments, speak 5 different languages, had maids and butlers growing up, real live maids and butlers growing, chauffeurs, guards, gardeners. The only thing I did not have growing up was any sort of private jet or anything like that. However, I learned how to fly planes before I learned how to drive a car. True story. When black people try and put themselves in the main pot, they lose. White supremacy says everybody is divided. Now, what does it benefit a black person to separate themselves into the black pot? Well, if you actually go full hog, full bore, whole hog on separating yourself into the black pot or the African American pot, you actually benefit your group, and you in turn benefit from the group benefiting. Do you see the failure of all of these cities with black people in the majority? Because they have not dedicated themselves to actually being black. Oh, you shot my baby. You didn't dedicate yourself to being black. You don't have a community. If you had a community, let me ask you this. I want you to sit there and I want you to close your eyes and I want you to imagine Jewtown. In Jewtown, do you think the police are not Jewish? Do you think the mayor's not Jewish? Do you think the city council is not Jewish? The traffic director not Jewish? The city planner not Jewish? Just close your eyes and I want you to imagine Jewtown. Who in that town, in a position of any sort of authority whatsoever, would not be a Jew? In a position of authority, would there be anybody in Jewtown not be Jewish? The answer, of course, is no. They wouldn't stand for it. But yet black people who actually call themselves black and say, I'm black and I'm proud and I'm blah and I'm proud and I'm proud to be black and I'm proud. Yet you let people in your school teach your children that they are lesser than. How stupid is that? I want you to pull up in Google Maps, in Google Images, this keyword, U.S. demographic map. You will see that the black people are all concentrated in the Southeast. The entire other 3/4 of the country is almost devoid of black people. That includes Illinois, Michigan. You see, this is where all of these numbers trip people up. They go, oh, there's this city with 40% black people, and there's black people everywhere in that city. Really? Okay, yeah, but on the whole, there's no black people in that state. If push came to shove, those people, that 40% in that one city, would be completely overwhelmed by everybody. There's just no black people. When I'm talking about no, I mean where it counts. I only care where it counts. You're not special snowflakes, okay? There's 20 of you gathered at a club. That doesn't mean anything. So now let's concentrate on the Southeast. You have blacks in the Southeast not running jack. Nothing. No city council. No mayor. No governor. No county. Huh? Now, you have some pockets of rich black neighborhoods in certain areas, but for the most part, no. And this is how the Democrats know mostly, because the Democrats actually took over the governing part of the Republican Party. Did you know that? Did you know that the Democrats were like 3-1 to begin with, right? It was 3 Democrats for every 1 Republican. The Republican Party is a tiny party. It is not a 50-50 party system like the mainstream media tries to lead you to believe. It is still 3-1, if not 4 or 5-1 by now. The Republican Party has always been a tiny, tiny party. So it was very easy for the Democrats to just change their party over to Republican. Okay, now we're in control. So you literally have not had a Republican since probably what? Lincoln? No, seriously. No, I'm being totally serious. And no Republicans switched over to the Democrats. That did not happen. Do you understand the politics of it? The Democrats were so numerous, they got tired of the stupid Republicans talking about equal, every man's equal, everybody's even, every human's equal, and your baby's equal too. No, they had to put forth their agenda. So what they simply did was take control over the Republican Party. Why? Because they could. They had the numbers to do so. Oh, and they kept it hush hush. Why do you think that the Republican elites never say anything when the Democrats call them racist? Do you think that a true Republican would sit there and take that? Of course not. But if you put your stooges in all of the leadership of the Republican Party, when you came out and said stuff like, oh, the Republicans are evil, the Republicans are racist, blah, 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 and then there's no response from Republicans, and people are just sort of sitting there with their mouth open going like, wait, what just happened? Or you get an Obama in office and the Republicans pretend like they're going to be against Obama, but yet they're fed from the same exact table that Obama is fed from, and Obama just vetoes or passes any sort of legislation that he wants, and everybody gets all upset. Oh my God, Obama's just running roughshod over the Republicans. Those aren't Republicans. What part don't you get? Here's the deal. You haven't been taught a power structure for a community. Now, I've made this video many times, and I keep talking about the complete lack of community that we have. And everybody's, they listen to the liberal mantra of, you don't need to be divided. You don't need to think division. I'm sorry. On the individual basis, it's already divided. It's divided all the way to the very top. You're already put into a category, every single person in the United States. If you choose to be some sort of hippie child, pot-smoking hippie child or something like that, running through the fields, the only thing that's going to happen is that you fail. And because all of your labor, energy, and most importantly, money is completely taken out of the black community suffers. And so you get Democrats putting on TV shows, how to be ratchet in 10 days, 50 ratchet pregnant women, the ratchetness of the black women, ratchet rappers wives, ratchet wives of basketball players, ratchet wives of football players. Black people are only rappers. And then you have reports about black people saying, oh, the black people are the most violent. No, they're not. It's an impossibility. We don't have the numbers. And in fact, the black people in the United States are so rare, they should not be on TV at all. But because we have dark skin and we're very visible, you can put us on TV and everybody will go, oh, I'm an idiot. That person looks different from me, from the majority of the white 60-70% of the country. Oh, okay, whatever you say must be true about that person. But the numbers aren't even there. Not only are the numbers not there, but the numbers are a minority, not even a minority. It's under 10% of the black population that they're talking about. If blacks make up 10% of the population, and there are 6 whites to 1 black person, and then start talking about 10% of the black people, that is 1/100th of the entire population of the United States. That's who they're talking about in the news. Let's assume that everything that they said was true, that these amount of black people are committing crimes or doing whatever, right? You're still talking about 1/100th of the population of the United States. There is not 1/100th of the population in the white population that we're talking about. That's like 10% of the population, 20% or even 30% of the actual U.S. population when you get into the white realm. When you put yourself away from the black community and don't be a part of the black community, you fail, you lose, and you're destined for failure. You're destined for loss. And then you doom your community itself. You're not going to win. So anytime you hear somebody say, I'm not African American, I'm not black, I'm American, you need to say, hold up, cuz, hold up, homeboy, hold up, homegirl. You don't know what you're actually saying. You don't know what you're actually doing. You're actually working against yourself. And the Democrats have gotten black people to work against themselves now for decades and decades and decades. They have now developed a talent for it. They have made guides and everything for it. Show them this video. You are black. You are African American. I think it's a fantastic term. And I lived in Africa about half of my life. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Live Show.